ki jai. Jai Om Shikha Paramani Shivaya Jaya Sri Sanchi Shiva Swami Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and So we have papers for you, and if you got the papers yesterday, it's the same ones. So you can pass out, raise your hand if you need some papers. We have the chart and we have the verses, and she will hand them out. So raise your hand if you need papers. This is, if you have your papers from yesterday, it's the same papers. So then you don't need any more. Mukam karadi vachalam bhagam nandete girim yakripantam vande Sri Guru Dinacharya. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjara Sharakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So the topic is, I'd like to welcome you to the second and last day of our seminar on the prayers of Brahma for mercy. We learned yesterday that all of us are mercy cases. We all need the mercy, and we discussed different things, but I did give you a little transcendental homework, and that was to look for the mercy yesterday. Look for the mercy. Raise your hand if you need the papers. Yes. So, did anybody find some mercy coming in your life yesterday? You did. Would you like to share with us, or you don't have? Okay.
I was sitting here and trying to string some beads, and I had a challenge because one of the main bead, the hole was too small, so I asked for help, and besides that, I also got some advice on how to do it with regard to the string that I was using, something I hadn't thought of. So
okay.
That was. I thought
that was mercy.
That was a mercy.
You were able to string your beads properly. Anybody else get some mercy? Of course, you had to be looking for it. Maybe it came, but you didn't notice. Yes?
The fantastic weather.
Fantastic weather. Okay. Mercy from the demigods.
Sit out in nature and think of Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. So you could be out in nature and think of Krishna. Good. Anybody else get some mercy yesterday? Yes, Shiprada.
I took a lot of mercy, so in the evening I managed to...
You got a lot of mercy.
Put it all down, and I had 2 pages of... But if you sum it all up, it can be devotees. That was how I felt the mercy, and their presence and their way of acting and support and singing and everything. So
wonderful. So you got mercy and you could give out, I think what you did.
Yes, yes.
You got mercy and you were able to give out mercy too. Good. Anybody else get some mercy yesterday? This is what it's about. Looking for mercy. Today we will analyze. Okay, here is somebody. Okay, over there, and then one more here.
I think I did in the form of a very unexpected Skype call, which lasted for 2 hours. I've been stuck with something related to my work for several months without being able to make much progress, and somehow during that call it seemed to resolve, so
Okay.
I can go forward.
It helps to be chanting and dancing and singing Hare Krishna.
Yes.
It removes all obstacles.
Yes.
And so good. You got mercy in the form of your removing obstacles to your work. Okay, somebody was over here. Yeah.
I felt it a great mercy to be with all the Vaishnavas here, from the babies to the most senior Vaishnavas. I was just enjoying
Wonderful.
it. Yeah, I was so grateful to see all the Vaishnavas and to be part of this. And I thought it is Srila Prabhupada's Panchatattvas and Gandharvika Giridhara's mercy.
Okay, thank you very much. So, anybody else have something to share? Okay, last one.
Mercy came in form of some melting of the heart during kirtan.
Good. Kirtan.
Stone heart.
And there's more to come. There's more to come. Good. So yesterday we had some verses about how the Lord comes to sit in our heart by smelling the dust of His lotus feet. We can smell through the ears. Our senses are interchangeable when we are engaged in spiritual practice. And we also heard how we can see through the ears. See through the ears, the beautiful form of Krishna. And also see the way to progress. Then we heard about the Sakam devotees who have material desires and those who are free from material desires. We heard about the different types of devotees and how Krishna reciprocates with everyone. So today we're going to start out, you have a chart here, and the verses are listed. This is from 3rd Canto, 9th chapter. Verses 16 through 19, how Brahma is appreciating Krishna in different ways. So we'll start with verse 16, and you will join me in verse 22. So verse 16, I'll read. Your Lordship is the prime root of the tree of the planetary systems. This tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in 3 trunks, as me, Brahma, Shiva, and you, the Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And we 3 have grown with many branches. I offer my obeisances unto you, the tree of this cosmic manifestation. So the root, what is the root of the tree? It's Vishnu. And it's based on desire, as we hear from Bhagavad Gita. According to our desires, we go into different places on the banyan tree of this material world. We find ourselves in different branches. But the root is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. They are the trunks of the tree. And this Prabhupada says that this verse defeats the impersonalist theory that Brahman is void, because this tree is full of variety and it's the reflection. And Vishnu is the root. And so therefore, because it's the reflection of the real tree is full of variety. Therefore, this world has variety. So therefore, because this world has variety, that world has variety also. So verse 17, people in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the really beneficial activities given directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish work remains powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will be cut to pieces. So I offer my respectful obeisances to Him who acts as eternal time. So the purport, Prabhupada says something very interesting. People in general are all engaged in senseless work. They are systematically unmindful of the real beneficial work. So did you realize that people in the material world, there's a system to their unmindfulness. Unmindfulness generally means that you don't pay attention, you're not mindful. No, but it's systematic. We're doing it on purpose. On purpose, they want to forget Krishna. On purpose, they want to engage in unbeneficial works. On purpose, they don't want to do devotional service. And those of you who are out preaching in book distribution, maybe you know, you have experienced that. People are systematically unmindful. There is a system to it. A conspiracy. No. Everybody says there's conspiracy and this and that. But actually, no, there's a system. Systematically unmindful. what is an example of how we can be systematically unmindful of our real beneficial work? Can we also do that sometimes? Yeah. Any example of that? How we are systematically unmindful? Yes.
Turn off the alarm clock in the morning and sleep some more.
Turn off the alarm clock in the morning and sleep some more. Okay, that's systematically unmindful. Yes.
Mechanically repeating the mantra.
Mechanically repeating the mantra. Yes.
Before the same as it
Say mechanically repeating the mantra. It's time to chant japa. Okay, switch on. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Okay, finished. Switch off, and the mind goes anywhere and everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah, so don't be systematically unmindful of Krishna. We should be systematically mindful of Krishna. Think how to think of Krishna. How can we remember Krishna? Now, an interesting thing Prabhupada says in the purport that the systems of jnana and yoga are indirectly rebellious acts against the Lord. That's a very heavy, Prabhupada was very heavy. Usually he didn't put down jnana and yoga that much, but here he says they are rebellious acts against the Lord. How could they be rebellious acts? Because they don't accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think I would, by my own effort, I will succeed in my chosen path. And then Prabhupada says another heavy statement. The conclusion is that only the devotees of the Lord are bona fide human beings, eligible for salvation. Others are vainly struggling for existence without any actual benefit. So in this room is full of bona fide human beings who are eligible for salvation. It's very heavy. So, but you can't preach like that. I mean, but we can understand the Prabhupada sometimes he has this heavy side to him, harder than the thunderbolt and softer than the rose. But when he interacted with these people, he was very compassionate, very soft. Unless they were challenging, and unless they were atheistic, unless they were challenging, then he would fight. He would be heavy. He would be heavy with them. And so, especially if they said the one was the oneness was the highest and not Krishna, then he would be really heavy with him. So let's see in the next verse, verse 18, talks about others. Your Lordship, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are indefatigable time and enjoyer of all sacrifice. Although I am situated in an abode which will continue to exist for a time duration of 2 paradas, although I am the leader of all other planets in the universe, although I have undergone many, many years of penance for self-realization, still I offer my respects unto you. So who knows how long is the life of Brahma? How long is his life? 300, yes, you know?
311 trillion years plus something.
Plus 40 billion. Okay, 311 trillion years. That's how long is his life. But even though he has such a long life, he's still offering obeisances to Krishna. Because his life is just a breath, half a breath of Vishnu. When Vishnu breathes out, that's Brahma's life. When Vishnu breathes in, then Brahma's life is finished. So imagine how long our life is. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just, Prabhupada calls it a flash in eternity, a little flash. And so, but better than the Gyanis and Yogis are those who do austerities. Better. Like Rama, he did austerities. And so he still has to surrender to Krishna in his form of time. Time is supreme. So verse 19, O my Lord, by your own will, you appear in the various species of living entities. Okay, so I'm going to read this one at a time. Oh no, it's just one. Okay, among animals lower than human beings, as well as among the demigods, to perform your transcendental pastimes. So the Lord appears among animals lower than human beings. Which avatar is that, or avatars? Yes?
We have Matsya.
Matsya? Anybody? Any? Yes? Varaha. Very good. Yes? Kurma. Wow, we've got three. 3 incarnations that are less than human beings. Okay. And demigods. Who is the incarnation among the demigods? No. Vamana. Yeah, Vamanadev. Because he's in the heavenly planets. He's counted as the one amongst the demigods. Okay. So, then you're not affected by material contamination. You come just to fulfill the obligations of your own principles of religion. Therefore, I offer my obeisances to you for manifesting so many forms. So here it says, you come to fulfill the obligations of your own principles of religion. What does that mean? What obligations does the Lord have to fulfill? Why does he have to come here to fulfill obligations to his principles of religion? What obligations? What, yes?
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he comes to protect the devotees. and
Protect the
annihilate
devotees,
the
yes.
demons.
Good, he comes for his devotees. That's why he comes. That's his obligation. He doesn't have, even for the demons, he doesn't have to come because material nature can take care of them. But he comes to protect his devotees. Good. So one thing we have to learn about this, now we're reading from 3rd canto, Varaha, we mentioned Varaha. One thing we learn from all these incarnations is that just like Varaha, he lifts the earth from the bottom of the ocean of the universe, and he appears in a hog body, and he expands. He's small, and then he expands. But when Krishna comes, all the incarnations are in his body. So what does that mean? That he doesn't have to expand. He keeps his same little body, and he can lift Govardhan Hill. He lifted the earth when he was as a hog, and then he was a little 7-year-old boy with one little finger. He lifted Govardhan Hill, and that was a very huge hill in those days, not like today. It is said in the Puranas that the animals from the sun god's chariot used to graze on top of Govardhan Hill when they were going around. So imagine how high Govardhan Hill was in those days, and Krishna lifted it like that. So one thing we learned is that as we go through these cantos, we hear about the different incarnations. Then we will understand how powerful Krishna is. All the incarnations are included in him. We won't be surprised. Nothing will surprise us by the time we get to 10th canto. He's a little boy, okay, he can lift Govardhan Hill. Because Varaha's coming from him. Vishnu's coming from him. He has all the powers. Okay, so the next verse, my Lord, verse 20, you accept the pleasure of sleeping in the water of devastation, where there are violent waves, and you enjoy pleasure on the bed of snakes, showing the happiness of your sleep to intelligent persons. At that time, all the universal planets are stationed within your abdomen. So Prabhupada talks about the Lord floating on Shesha. And he said that's where we get the idea of using floaties in the swimming pool or in the ocean. We get the idea from him. When we have a mattress and we're floating in the water, we get the idea from Vishnu. Because everything comes from him, all types of enjoyment, all types of ideas. So that's where we got that idea of floating, and he's having a good time sleeping on the cool body of a serpent. So Brahma is now seeing Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and he wants some mercy. He's going to give his request very soon in the next verse. But I would like to remind you, if some of you have read Krishna book, then when Lord Krishna and Arjuna entered the water where Mahavishnu was, there was a strong hurricane of transcendental effulgence blowing. Here we have wind, strong wind, but there the effulgence is blowing. It's like a hurricane of effulgence. And he enjoys sleeping on the cool body of the snake. So in the spiritual world, there's hurricanes of effulgence. That's something we can learn also. Now, 21, Brahma is going to give his request, first request. He's going to give many requests. O object of my worship, I am born from the house of your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. All these planets of the universe are stationed in your transcendental abdomen while you are enjoying sleep. Now your sleep having ended, your eyes are open like blossoming lotuses in the morning. So he's asking the Lord to open his eyes. And this means Archana. Brahma is beginning his morning now. This is the beginning of Brahma's morning, these prayers. And he begins by his offering prayers also, like we offer our prayers. We come from Mangalarti. And how now he's begging the Lord, please open your eyes. And he's glancing at him, and we can get the same benefit by going to Mangalarti in the morning. You can get the glance of the Lord. And Mangal means auspicious. Our whole life will be, our whole day will be auspicious if we come to Mangalarti, because we'll get the glance of the Panchatattva on us. What could be more merciful? So, now, a very interesting sentence in the purport. So I'm going to ask you about this, so listen carefully. Foolish impersonalists always think backwards. What does that mean? How do foolish impersonalists think backwards? What does that mean? How do they think? Yes?
They think that the impersonal oneness is the source of the personal.
Okay.
But actually the personal Krishna, he's the source of everything.
Okay. All right. The personal, they think the impersonal is the source of the personal. So that's how they think backwards. Yes?
Because the value system is opposite, right? They are always in the center, and Krishna is not existing either or differently back, but for a devotee, Krishna is in the center.
Okay, Krishna's in the center. Yes.
Related to the process, so one form of backwardness is the relationship between bhakti to other processes. Like they consider bhakti to be a means to a jnana realization, whereas bhakti is its own end, and pure bhakti starts after Brahma Bhuta.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. I don't need to repeat it since you have a microphone. Any other ideas? How do impersonalists think backwards? I'll tell you what Prabhupada says. Foolish impersonalists always think backwards. They say in spirit there cannot be sleep, because in matter there is sleep. Actually, the opposite is true. Whatever we see here is a perverted reflection of the spiritual energy. So Mahavishnu is sleeping. They say, yeah, how can there be sleep in the spiritual world? And I was distributing books in India. I was in the book table, and we had a picture of Mahavishnu, and one man came and said, I don't think he's sleeping, I think he's sick. So, you know, the ideas you get, the ideas people have, there's so many ideas. Another one said, you know, we are throwing our Bhagavad Gita in the ocean. We want technology. And so we said, well, why don't you throw your brains in the ocean? Because they're thinking backwards. They're thinking, yeah, we need technology, not this Bhagavad Gita. Well, that's another way of thinking backwards. Okay, so this is, Prabhupada is very heavy with the Gyanis, the Yogis, and the impersonalists here. Very heavy in these purports. So now verse 22, we do have, you can look on your verses sheet. He is praying for mercy and the power of introspection to create. 3:9:22, it's on your verse sheet. I'll say one line and you can repeat after me. Yo yam samasta jagatam suhideka atma. Yo yam samasta jagatam suhideka atma. Sattve nayan midayate bhagavan bhagena. nayam rikayate bhagavam padena tenaiva me disham anu spishatad yathaham tenaiva me disham anu spishatad yathaham shakshyami purvavadidam pranam Viyoksa Shakshyami Purvapabhidam Pranata Viyoksa. Let the Supreme Lord be merciful towards me. He is the one friend and soul of all living entities in the world, and he maintains all for their ultimate happiness by his 6 transcendental opulences. May he be merciful towards me, so that I, as before, may be empowered with the introspection to create, for I am also one of the surrendered souls who are dear to the Lord. So he's begging for mercy, merciful side. I'm a surrendered soul. You are merciful to surrendered souls, so therefore you should give me mercy. So he's being logical with the Lord. I guess you can sometimes do that. The demigods do it all the time. And they when they pray, when they're in trouble with the demons, and they say, oh dear Lord, you saved Prahlad, you saved this one, you saved that one. Now we need you to save us too. So that sometimes they're very logical. They remind him, yes, you saved all of them. So power of introspection to create. This is the internal vision. We have to open our internal vision. Then we can become empowered to serve Krishna. And so this is a prayer for empowerment. Please give me your mercy, so I will be inspired from within to create. So verse 23, now, and 24, they're going to be prayers for protection from fall down. I'll read 23. Supreme Lord is always the benefactor of surrendered souls. His activities are always enacted through his internal potency, Rama, goddess of fortune. I pray only to engage in his service in the creation of the material world, and I pray I may not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being the creator. So he's worried about pride, because he's going to create the universe. Now that's something to be proud about. And nobody can compare to the creation of Brahma. Nothing can compare to his creation. So he's worried. And what's his worry? I might become proud. Imagine. And we don't worry about becoming proud, but yes, we should take this from Brahma, that we should pray for protection. So fall down due to pride. So, and Prabhupada said, this is how you can become dear to the Lord and get his benediction. So I'd like to remind you about what I said in my class a few days ago, 4 causes of fall down, according to His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. For one of them is pride. Now why do devotees leave Krishna consciousness? First of all, pride. Second of all, lack of association with devotees. We don't have good association. Third, due to offenses. We may commit offenses to other devotees. And fourth, lack of knowledge about the spiritual path. Lack of a higher taste, lack of knowledge. And so we also need to pray. At one time I just saw, it must be the memories of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was praying in front of the deities. He was coming to one temple in Los Angeles, or one big temple, and he was staying, praying in front of the deities. And one devotee asked him, what were you praying for, Srila Prabhupada? And Srila Prabhupada was saying, I was praying that I will always have no problem in performing my devotional service. That I will always have no lack. I will not be separated from doing devotional service. So imagine Srila Prabhupada praying like that. I will not be separated from doing devotional service. So this is the attitude of pure devotees. I dropped this. I think it's okay, but maybe not. Yes? I forgot it was there. Okay. So, yes, how to pray. This is what we are learning from the prayers of Brahma. So his first worry was about becoming proud. Let's hear what is his second worry. Verse 24, the Lord's potencies are innumerable. As he lies down in the water of devastation, I am born as a total universal energy from the navel lake in which the lotus sprouts. I am now engaged in manifesting his diverse energies in the form of the cosmic manifestation. I therefore pray in the course of my material activities, I may not be deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns. Interesting prayer. I don't want to deviate from the vibration of the Vedic hymns. So what could that mean? Why is Brahma praying for that? Protection from deviation from the Vedic vibration. Well, he wants to speak it as it is. So many people have deviated and broken in succession. So many interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Why are there so many interpretations of Bhagavad Gita? They're not as it is. Because, Prabhupada explained why there's so many interpretations. Because if the man would write his own book, no one would buy it. But he put Bhagavad Gita in his name, then people will buy it because it says Bhagavad Gita. And everybody reads Bhagavad Gita. So this is deviation from the vibration of the Vedic hymns. When we go away from chanting Hare Krishna, when we start manufacturing our own ways of interpretation, we become self-appointed interpreters. We learn a lot of Sanskrit, and then we know better than Prabhupada. This has happened. So Prabhupada in the purport talks about this. Every person engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord in this material world, so that's us, we are engaged in devotional service in this material world, is prone to so many material activities. I hope not, but that's what Prabhupada says. And if one is not strong enough to protect himself against the onslaught of material affection, he may be diverted from the spiritual energy. So how to protect ourselves? Prabhupada says, this is a warning for one and all in the spiritual advancement of life. Unless one is sufficiently protected by the Lord, he may fall down from his spiritual position. Therefore, now Prabhupada is going to tell us what to do to protect ourselves. So listen carefully. One has to pray constantly to the Lord for protection and the blessing to carry out one's duty. There you go. We have to pray constantly for protection from fall down. Lord Chaitanya entrusted his missionary work to his devotees and assured them of his protection against the onslaught of material affection. That's Jare Deko Tare Koha Krishna Kadesh. Wherever you meet, tell them about Krishna. On my order, you become Guru and save this land. So that is the order. And he said, and if you do this, don't worry. You will get my darshan, or we will meet again, or I will always be with you. So Prabhupada said, the path of spiritual life is stated to be like the edge of a sharpened razor. A little inattentiveness may at once create havoc and bloodshed, but one who is completely surrendered soul, always seeking protection from the Lord, discharge of his duties, has no fear of falling into material contamination. There we go. So, no fear if you are a completely surrendered soul. I guess if you're not, then you might be a little worried there. But you pray. You pray for protection, and you'll get it. All sincere prayers are answered. So, verse 25, Rama's praying for direction. The Lord, who is supreme, is unlimitedly merciful. I wish he may smilingly bestow his benediction upon me by opening his lotus eyes. He can uplift the entire cosmic creation and remove our dejection by kindly speaking his direction. So, do they sometimes pray this for the deities? Please open your eyes. I don't know the Sanskrit. No, not here. Okay, in some places they do. I guess Lord Chaitanya's.
In the morning, when you wake them up.
Yeah, when you wake.
Yes.
Yeah, you pray that.
Yes.
Please open your eyes when you wake them up. So it's Brahma's time to wake up Krishna in the morning. And he's waiting for the difficult. Yes? Get up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Or get up early in the morning. Yeah, that's an austerity. It's very difficult. What's that?
Feasting on elaborate
Feasting on elaborate prasadam. That's an austerity, yeah, especially if you get a reaction after. At a certain age, you can't do that anymore. Any other austerities for devotees? Yes. Control the mind. Yes. Yes. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. Good. Yes. Any other austerity? Yes.
Fasting on Ekadasi.
Fasting on Ekadashi.
And
Okay.
appearance days.
And appearance days. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay, so, but if we do this, then we will get the mercy. So Prabhupada said in the purport, the mercy the Lord bestows upon a particular person engaged in executing the responsible work entrusted unto him is beyond imagination. So Prabhupada got that amazing mercy. He is, within 10 years, all over the world, he was writing books, he was speaking innumerable lectures, he introduced deity worship, he called the deities to come everywhere, all over the world, farm communities like here, schools, restaurants. And then Prabhupada says in the purport, but his mercy is received due to our penance and perseverance in executing devotional service. So we need determination, especially sometimes when these austerities come up. Sometimes the association is austere, sometimes the getting up in the morning, taking a cold bath, or even just taking a bath is austere, 3 o'clock in the morning. And so, but we try to do this so we can be determined to follow the orders of our spiritual master. So Prabhupada 1 year struggled alone, and he gave us a prayer actually to Super Soul that will help us. So I'll share this prayer with you. It's a letter to Devananda. Simply our prayer should be, my dear Krishna, please remind me always to chant your holy name. Please do not put me into forgetfulness. You are sitting within me as Super Soul, so you can put me into forgetfulness or into remembering you. So please do not put me into forgetfulness. Please always remind me to chant. Even you send me to hell, it doesn't matter, just so long as I can always chant Hare Krishna. Good. So now the next 3 verses you have on your chart again. 31 to 33 is a step-by-step realization of one who gets the mercy. What can we expect to realize? Verse 31, O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service in the course of your creative activities, you will see me in you and throughout the universe, and you will see that you yourself, the universe, and living entities are all in me. So when Brahma stole the calves and cowherd boys, he saw that he had this. 32, you will see me in all living entities, as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion. And verse 33. So first you'll see Krishna within and without, then he'll see Super Soul also. In verse 33, when you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time you'll be situated in pure consciousness. So what is that called in Sanskrit? The Svarup. You will see who you are in the spiritual world. What is our Svarup? Okay, Prabhupada says, a very interesting in the purport. Interesting. He says, a person whose only desire is to render transcendent loving service to the Lord is a free person in any condition of material existence, quoting from Nectar of Devotion. Now listen to me, listen to this sentence. What is the Svarup? That service attitude is the Svarup, or real form of the living entity. Did you know that? So you got the service attitude, you got your Svarup. You're experiencing your Svarup, your spiritual form. And it probably equates your Svarup, your real form, with the service attitude. So those who have a service attitude will be realizing their Svarup very soon. Because they are actually in their Svarup, they're in the service attitude. Now back to the impersonalists. The Mayavadi school shudders at the thought of a service attitude in the living entity. Why do the impersonalists shudder at the thought of a service attitude? Why is it so terrible that we have a service attitude? Why do the impersonalists? Yeah.
They want to be the supreme.
They want to be God. And God doesn't serve anyone, does he? Wrong. Krishna also has a service attitude. He wants to serve his devotees. So if we serve the devotees, then we're helping Krishna out in his service. And you know there's a competition between Krishna and his devotees. Who can serve the other one the most? Yes, they shudder at the thought because they want to be God. Any other reason? Why does the impersonalist shudder at the thought of a service attitude and living entity? Yes.
I was thinking that even if for Brahmavadi who is not necessarily offensive in the sense that one is thinking oneself as the supreme, but it still is a different rasa, because impersonal is always Santa rasa, so one is attracted to that and service is active. So
Okay.
maybe there's some incompatibility.
Okay. Okay. Any other ideas? Yeah.
They have a bad experience in the material world.
They have a bad experience of service in the material world. Good. Tapas.
Service is Maya.
Service is Maya.
Any activity is Maya.
Any activity, yeah. We should just be still like a stone and merge, because that's the goal. Yes, okay, it's bad experience, so they shudder at the thought. And also it's Maya, so they shudder at the thought of Maya. Good. Okay, yes.
I think also in the modern society there is the unions, these people who have this job, they can do that, we cannot enter each other's jobs and help each other. So it's very strict in the modern society.
Okay, so the problem with the unions it could cause them to shudder at the yeah, especially if they're managers. Okay, good. So we understand the impersonalist philosophy. So what does Prabhupada say here? Oh, something different than what everybody else said. They shudder at the thought of service because they have no knowledge of the transcendental position. In the transcendental loving service, the servitor is as free as the Lord. Isn't that a wonderful point of knowledge? The Lord is fully independent. The servant is fully independent in the spiritual atmosphere because there is no forced service. Transcendental loving service is due to spontaneous love. So everything is based on love. And that's what the problem with the impersonalists, they don't realize that there is love in the spiritual world. And that love is eternal and without any material contamination. When Prabhupada was here, we would just do anything for him. So I'll read you an example. I'll share with you one story. This is also, the story is from Govinda Dasi. They were on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada in one of the parks of some big city. And Prabhupada pointed to a bunch of trees on the right, and it was quite off the path. He said, "Can you bring me some small branches from that tree?" And so Gaurasinder went running into the bushes and got this tree, and they saw the tree shaking, and he got some branches. He came back with a bunch of branches in his arms. And then everyone was waiting. We had no idea why he wanted those branches, and we were dying to know, but he was silent, and we were too timid to ask. So we walked on, and Prabhupada was walking in the park and taking all the leaves off the branches. And then the small branches, they were about 3 feet long. I don't know, that's a meter, about a meter. So as he walked, the leaves were going all over the path. And she said, I was dying of curiosity, but I was just watching silently what he was doing. We had no idea. Suddenly, just as we were leaving the park, Prabhupada smiled and said, "These twigs will be my toothbrushes." He broke them into little twigs. He broke the branches into 8-inch pieces. And he said, this tree has a very medicinal sap. It has very antiseptic properties. Then he opened his mouth and he showed his big smile. He said, if you want teeth like mine at 80, you cannot use a toothbrush. You must use these tree twigs. So in Calcutta we could buy the twigs in the market. We used to offer them to the deity too. And get the maha twigs. Neem twigs. So he said, this will keep you very healthy. So he said, the best twig was eucalyptus. I don't know if you have those trees here. No. And I think you have this one. He said on the East Coast, he used birch. I think that's what you have here. So birch is also good. So you have birch trees here. You can make an experiment. You have to, I have to tell you how to do it. You chew the end of it should be like the size of your finger. And then you chew the edge and make it into a little brush. And then you brush your teeth with that.
How thick?
Yeah, like this, like your finger, so that it's strong enough to go into like a brush. You have to chew the end and make it come down like all the sides, so it becomes a little brush. Of course, neem is the best because it's antiseptic. But Prabhupada was using birch, so you can try it sometime. You see, in India, people still do that.
We used to use it for the deities in Koshnas. I don't know if they do it anymore. We used to cut birch.
Birch tree. Okay. Yes.
Did Srila Prabhupada say that before he lost some teeth because he lost?
Yeah, well, he was over 80. I mean.
Yeah, over 80, yeah.
Yeah, over 80. That's expected.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I don't think he saw a dentist much before that. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you can, and when I was using it, I didn't see a dentist either for 10 years in India. For the first 10 years. Maybe 20. Yeah. Okay, so let's go on. We have a few more verses. Verse 34. And you can follow on your chart. Benedictions of mercy. Okay. Let's hear what that is. Since you have desired to increase the population innumerably and expand your varieties of service, you should never be deprived in this matter, because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time. So expanding means not simply having children. You also have disciples. So Brahma, he's the head of the succession, so he increased the population so they could all become devotees. Verse 35, you are the original Rishi, because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny. The vicious mode of passion will never encroach upon you. So when we expand devotees, then this is Krishna's mercy. Brahma's service, that's his. Service, increasing the population means to increase the number of devotees. So then 37, O Brahma, just follow this conclusion. By fixed concentration of mind, and no pride will disturb you, neither in the partial or final devastation. So now we'll read verse 38, which is, what is mercy? 3 things. So if you're doing these 3 things, you got the mercy. So I'll say one line, you have this in your verses, and you can repeat after me. Yaschakartanga matstotram, Shakartanga matstotram, Matkata vyudayam pitam, Matkata vyudayam pitam, Yadvat tapasite nishta, Yadvat tapasite nishta, Sa esha mat anugraha, Sa esha mat anugraha. O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted, praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. Verse 38. So 3 things, it's on your chart. Matstotram, Matkatavyadam Dayankitam, so prayers, that means prayers. Stotra means prayers. Tapasi, penances, and Nishta, firm faith. This is Krishna's mercy. If you are saying prayers to the Lord, if you're doing austerities, and if you have firm faith, Nishta, that is the mercy of the Lord. These are the gifts that we get from the Lord. So, Prabhupada says, when somebody wants to serve the Lord in transcendental loving service, the Lord helps the devotee in so many ways as Chaitaguru. Chaitaguru, spiritual master within. By the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. So here's the qualification for perfection. Prabhupada says here, voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. So what that means is just do it, as they say nowadays. Just do it. Just do devotional service. Just remember Krishna. Just pray to Krishna. Just do austerities for Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, he was thinking for all living entities. I'll share one more story about Prabhupada. He understood the behavior of even the smallest little entities. So again, this is from Govinda Dasi's experience. She was sleeping on a blanket on the floor in the kitchen, and bed bugs were a problem. Everybody knows what bed bugs are, yes? So, yes, I think, you know. So she said, I would wake up in the morning with red bites all over my cheeks. I tried to turn the other direction with my feet to the wall. Then my feet would be covered with red bites. Swamiji asked us, how are we doing? And he saw the red marks on my face. I explained to him, some bugs are biting me. Prabhupada laughed, he said, and he pointed to his window. Yes, they also come here, but I stay very still. And when they think I'm asleep, they come. Then I catch them, I chant to them, and I put them out the window. That's Prabhupada. So, by the breathing, they know just when a man is sleeping, but I can trick them. That's it. His eyes sparkled as he told how he tricked the little bedbugs, pretending to be asleep. So that night, I tried tricking them, but I fell asleep and got bitten as usual. And the next night, and again, to no avail. I couldn't catch them. A few days later, I told Swamiji, I tried every night to catch them, but I can't catch them. I breathe softly. I try to pretend I'm asleep, but they are too clever. They don't come and bite until I'm really asleep. I don't know how you do this. Swamiji laughed and wagged his head, said, yes, you have to be very expert. And so, this is mercy. Prabhupada is also merciful to the bedbugs. He chanted to them and put them out the window. He didn't just smash them, which most people would do. So we can't bribe Krishna. He's looking for our sincere endeavor, our voluntary endeavor. So to end, I'll read verse 41. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penance, sacrifice, charity, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. So the goal is to satisfy Krishna. That is what we have to do. And we can also pray. Shukadev, he prays, may you be pleased with me. So we will stop here, or if there's any questions, comments. Yes.
One of the prayers of Mama is saying, I also is very dear servant.
Yes.
So,
on the other side, you have Honorary Vidyanidhi. When he heard Krishna kill Putana, he said that Krishna killed mercy to everyone except me. In other words, I'm less dear than Putana. So both of these seems contradictory, but it's stated by very advanced devotees both. Can you say a bit more?
Well, I would say they're both the same because Brahma is thinking he likes the mercy, and Pundarik Vidyanidhi is thinking he likes the mercy. They both are having the same feeling of being without mercy, not getting the mercy. And that's the whole purpose of Brahma's prayers, is please give me the mercy. That's the attitude of the devotee. As Prabhupada said in one purport, he feels himself incapable. Yeah.
So but he's still saying, I'm one of his dear servants. So how can a devotee feel like that? That I'm one of the dear servants.
Oh, one of the dear servants. Oh, I see. And you're saying that Pundarika is not feeling he's one of the dear servants.
I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking, okay. Yes, because creation is a very big service. So anyone who has to do with creation, he has to be a dear servant. So he's more in an official relationship. The demigod, he is a demigod. If you read Nectar of Devotion, they don't have that very intimate personal relationship with the Lord that the associates have. Like Pundarika Vidyanidhi, he had this very intimate relationship. But at the same time, he was feeling like, there's always more mercy to be gotten. Yeah, hey, why didn't I get the mercy of Putana? But he was getting so much mercy from Lord Chaitanya. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya was, as soon as he heard Pundarika Vidyanidhi was in town, he immediately was calling him, saying, oh, my life is perfect now. This devotee has come. So he got more mercy than Brahma, actually. But Brahma, he's feeling he's a dear servant because he's the head of the Sampradaya. He's the creator of the universe. So he's not thinking personally, but he's thinking this service is done by somebody who is a dear servant. And he's praying on that basis also, that you've given me the service, so you must think that you're giving me the blessings. He did give him the blessings too, to do it. So you have to analyze the attitudes of the devotees. But it is more official with the demigods. It's more official, and Brahma is expressing that more official position. I'm although I may be a dear servant, I still need the mercy. Okay, any other? Yes, Mangalesha.
Thank you so much. Yes, as we hear, the services, desire for service and doing this service is very important in pleasing Krishna. And but what about the many fantastic devotee swamis that made many big endeavor, very big services, but then they fall down? What was the reason? The whole life they just did the service, and doing to pleasing the Prabhupada. But then what was the reason? Of course, there is it can be many reasons, but can we? I'm just a little bit affected when we are talking so much about this service attitude, so we just forget our limitation, the human form of we still didn't reach our spiritual body, so we have a very limited body, and to go over this, so it is good to,
As we said, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj analyzed, and he said, why do these devotees fall down from the high position? And he said, lack of association, because sometimes if you're in a high position, then you may not have friends. All the people you're surrounded by is your disciples, and so you need somebody who can also chastise you and correct you, and even though you're in a high position. So that's one reason.
So it's good to listen to chastise also.
Yeah. Also, lack of humility can come if you're in a high position. Lack of humility. And making offenses to devotees. And offenses can be done not only to high devotees, they can be done to low devotees too. And so all these things can add up. They may have knowledge in things, but then these other things may happen, because there's prachar and achar. There's behavior and there's preaching. And so it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Haridas Thakur, he was being praised that, some preach nicely but they don't behave nicely. Some behave nicely but they don't preach. But you have both, good behavior preaching. So there may be a lot of preachers, but their behavior may not be.
So it's a big art.
It's balancing act.
Balancing. It's
We
about
have to
balance.
always remain in the humble position like Lord Brahma. Even though he's the creator, he's begging for protection from fall down
Yeah.
due to pride, due to deviation. So we also have to pray like that too. We should, yeah.
I'm very happy to hear this subject was to pray, because it was a time I had a discussion with the devotees and they said, no, we don't need to pray, we don't bother Krishna. Krishna is sitting in your heart and he knows everything. Why you are praying? So I'm very glad to hear that, no, this is our humble situation, we have to pray.
Now, Prabhupada says in the purport we should pray incessantly. Another purport in the prayers of Shukadeva, he said we should pray. So here he says we should pray incessantly for protection from fall down. And that purport, Prabhupada says we should pray incessantly to for Krishna to pick us up from this ocean of material existence and place him as an atom of dust at his lotus feet. So these are, Prabhupada says in the purport, we should pray incessantly at every second we should be praying.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get one in the back first.
I want to ask you one thing, because in this verse 38 it says it's more talk about prayers. The prayers that you have chanted praising the glories of my transcendental activities, and so on, these are to be considered my causeless mercy. So here it's specified that it's prayers that chanting the glories of the Lord. So the good prayers are the bad prayers something we should not pray about, or any prayers are mercy, or
Okay, so she's asking about the quality of prayers. According to Bhagavatam, the akama, sarvakama, mokshakama, dharmati, whether you are full of desires, free of desires, or you want liberation, you should pray to Krishna. It doesn't matter what your motivation is, you should pray to him. But on a higher level, you should pray to please him. There are different levels of devotees. So therefore, if you want to pray on the highest level, then you pray, please, may you be pleased with me. I want to please you. So that's the highest. And there's different gradations, but Prabhupada advised us to pray for protection. He advised us to pray for remembrance of Krishna, so we always remember Krishna and never forget him. He also advised us to pray in Shukadeva's prayers for being picked up from the ocean and placed in devotional service. The fifth prayer of Shikshastaka, fifth prayer, Ayanantatanuja Kinkaram Patitamam. Please, I've fallen into this ocean, please pick me up. So these are being advised by Srila Prabhupada in his purports that we should pray like this. We should pray for these things. But whatever desire you have, it's good to go to Krishna. So at least Krishna is there in your life. And you're depending on him for everything. Okay, Labangla?
Yeah. Can I make a comment?
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes.
yeah, because this question, why do these great personalities?
Oh,
who are
okay, we're back to
why,
falling.
how do they fall? Why do they fall down? We were reading in our Vaishnavi Sangha this book of the 64 principles of community, and that's from Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and the comments are also by Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. And that question came up in one of the principles. He had question answer. Somebody asked exactly the same question, and he was saying that sometimes when we have some difficulties of the heart, we have to face it. But if we don't face it, if we try to keep up the appearances, then it doesn't happen. We don't progress.
Okay.
And then sometimes Krishna pushes it out into the open, and then it is a big fall down, because this is Krishna's mercy, so that they will be forced to work on the problems within the heart.
Okay, that's a nice
So it's the most compassionate.
yeah. When it comes up, then we should face it and work on it. Otherwise, it will be forced into the open and it will become a fall down. Sometimes you can also experience a fall down on the subtle rather than the gross. And nobody will know about it except you, who suffer immensely from it. Yes, Manleshwari.
It's a little bit maybe funny question, but yes, I have that the special time to pray is better before your Gayatri mantra or after. It's very good to pray. And
You experienced this? You're saying?
I heard from my Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
That it's good to pray
Before your Gayatri or
after
after
Gayatri mantra.
Okay.
And then pray for, as you said, protection and this and that, and the protection of Guru and other devotees to uplift them and fulfill their spiritual desire. But I try to do it, but sometimes I don't, poor Krishna must do here again and again and again and again. So, once a day or every time, because
Prabhupada said we should pray incessantly. That means every second.
Okay, so it's not, we are not
too much.
disturbing Krishna.
He already knows your every thought.
Okay. Thank
so
you.
if you try to have a relationship with him,
Yes.
that's even better.
Yes. Thank
Try
you.
to have a relationship. Yes.
Here in the last verse, the Lord lists 3 items which are understood to be His mercy. I'm wondering, are there any other such clear definitions of mercy, items which would be outside of this list of 3?
Well, just on the first page of your chart, I've given you another clear definition. From 10th canto, 88th chapter, verse 10 actually. But in the translation, in the book, it's not there, but it's in Krishna book, Prabhupada's translation, where he analyzes a very clear definition of mercy there. Symptoms of mercy. It's not exactly the same, but it's another angle of understanding what is mercy. So you have that with you in your chart. Brahma, Paramam, Sukshmam, transcendental love between the devotee and the Lord. Chinmatram, Sat, Anantakam, and causeless. So this analysis is given in the 10th canto in Krishna book. The symptoms of the mercy. Yeah, other than that, I can't say. Yes, Tapas.
There's Lord Singha is speaking to Prahlad.
No, Lord Shindev is speaking to Prahlad.
And he's saying about mercy also. He's saying,
okay, so you can
anyone
check.
who has become attracted to me must be considered to have received already my mercy.
Okay, so Nishingadev is speaking to Prahlad Maharaj. You can look here. Thank you. Yes.
We see here that Lord Brahma sees his material work as a service, and I'm wondering how devotees who are not directly serving Krishna can see the work, maybe not direct service, but as a service to Krishna. Is there any
How
way?
can you see your material work as a service to Krishna?
Is it possible?
You mean like working in the
to
material world?
spiritualize.
Okay, well, my friend, my godbrother Karnamrita has a method that you connect everything to Krishna in your day. Like, before you get up in the morning, or when you wake up in the morning, then you pray, okay, I offer this day to you. This day is for your pleasure. When you go and brush your teeth, okay, I offer this brushing your teeth, my teeth, because it is your body and I'm trying to take care of your body nicely. So before you do anything, you offer it, not just your food. You offer every activity, every thought. So that's one way. And another way to connect everything in your life is to be grateful. Say, thank you, Krishna, for helping me get this idea how to do my work. Or thank you, Krishna, for giving me this ability to chant your holy name. So gratitude is one way, and offering before. So offering before is one way, and thanking Krishna after, that's another way. These are ways to connect to Krishna.